There is a unique thing that I've thought about lately about how people are weird, honestly. Not in the sense, not in the socially awkward weird sense, but it's rather like this is based on personal reflection and based on my previous experiences as well. But what I'm trying to get at here is not weird in the I'm a socially awkward dude, maybe I am, who knows, but rather in the weird sense that if you say you're going to do something, if let's say I say I'm going to achieve this great project that I'm going to do a year ahead from now, most likely I'm not going to achieve that. I don't know why. It seems like that. It seems for me the case that the more I talk, the less I do, and the more I do, the less I talk. There's this pattern that I've noticed lately as well on how the people who need to talk about how great their themselves are people who are mediocre at best. If you need to talk about how great you are, then most likely you're not great. Because if you were actually great, then the deeds you have done, the actions you have already taken, the achievements you have already done would have already shown to everyone that you are great. And you wouldn't have to say anything. People would already know that you're great. Likewise, I believe we can extrapolate that logic elsewhere and into this situation as well. If you say you're going to do something great, it's going to be even harder to do that great thing. Not in a sense harder, but it just seems less likely. Because if you are going to do said great things, you wouldn't be talking about doing said great things. I believe you will actually be doing the great things instead. There's this discrepancy, I guess you could say it, between what we say and what we do, and what we do with what we say. Oftentimes, if you talk more, oftentimes, from what I've noticed, the people who have actually done more usually talk less. And the people who usually talk more, sorry, bad voice crack right there. The people who usually talk more have usually done less. That goes for me as well. Oftentimes I've noticed I've talked about this and this and this, talk about great projects, talk about I'm going to do this and that, but eventually those things never came to fruition. However, the things that I did do, I rarely actually talked about them. The things I actually achieved, like let's say, the things that I did do consistently, which is the past 2 years, will probably be exercising. That will be one big thing, and going to the gym. That thing, in the beginning, I didn't even talk about it. In the beginning, no one knew I went to the gym. In the beginning, no one knew, but I just did it. And eventually, yeah, people knew. I started to talk about it, but because I already did it, it was already in the past. That's when I started to talk about it. That's when the proof had already started to show. That's when I started to talk about it. Not something like next year I'm going to start going to the gym. No, I didn't plan ahead. I just did it. That's the things that actually stuck with me, was the things that I, instead of talking about how I'm going to do this big thing, about how I'm going to achieve this great plan, no, I just did it immediately. Those are the things that I observed were the things that actually stuck through, not the things that I said, oh, I'm going to achieve this. No, those things I never actually achieved, or rather I did some of it, I didn't even start it. It was rather the small things. It was rather the things that I didn't say, but I actually did, that eventually got the ball rolling. So I'm like, I'll just leave with this, honestly. It's more important to have the action rather than just say. Like my father would usually always say in this abbreviation, NATO, NATO. No action, talk only. That's what we want to avoid. And by no means is it a slander to NATO. wouldn't want any problems with them. But that's something to consider. No action, talk only. We don't want to be like that. Hopefully, I don't end up like that.